The wisdom and energy of Klavdia Kemp amazed everyone who had the chance to meet her. Her life was filled with hardships, but those very challenges shaped her resilient character and earned her the admiration of colleagues and friends alike. Klavdia lived over 100 years, and her secrets to longevity and vitality continue to inspire those who study her remarkable legacy. Born in the late 19th century to a noble family, Klavdia grew up in an environment steeped in education and high standards. Her father owned an extensive library, which became a sanctuary for her as a young girl, a place where she would spend hours immersing herself in the world of knowledge. Many of the books were rare editions, and they fostered her love for history and culture. However, her serene childhood ended abruptly at the age of 20, when tragedy struck her family. Her father was killed and her mother was exiled to a distant region where she passed away shortly after from illness. Such events might have broken anyone else, but not Klavdia. She firmly believed that the strength of the human spirit could overcome any trial. This pivotal period gave her life new meaning. Her thirst for knowledge and her desire to serve others helped her find her purpose. Although her dream of becoming a teacher was thwarted by societal restrictions, she discovered her calling in science. As a researcher at the Institute of Industrial Studies, Klavdia began exploring algae, a pursuit that became her life's work. Her colleagues often remarked that Klavdia Kemp seemed destined to study the underwater world. Her fascination with algae grew into a profound passion. Every day at work was filled with discoveries, and her enthusiasm inspired those around her. She believed that work that brings joy leads to a rich and harmonious life, a philosophy that guided her through all of life's challenges. One of Klavdia's most cherished memories was her visit to the Solovetsky Islands in 1912 as a student. While browsing the monastery's library, she came across ancient chronicles and writings that left an indelible mark on her soul. Among these were works by Avvakum, a revered old believer. His life, filled with hardships and relentless persecution, deeply moved her. Despite exile, the loss of children, and constant oppression, Avvakum continued his creative endeavors, embodying the unyielding strength of the human spirit, a quality Klavdia admired profoundly. Her scientific pursuits and spiritual reflections were just one aspect of her unique character. The secret to her longevity and boundless energy lay in simple yet profound habits she practiced throughout her life. One of these was her dedication to maintaining her eyesight. Klavdia understood the importance of preserving eye health, especially given her love for reading and research. This awareness emerged from the difficulties she faced, such as the strain of reading by dim kerosene lamps during her youth. Through her observations of nature, watching trees sway in the wind or birds soar through the sky, she realized that vision was more than a physiological function. It was a reflection of inner balance. This realization prompted her to develop simple daily eye exercises. Every morning before work, Klavdia would sit by her window overlooking a garden and slowly shift her gaze from nearby objects to distant ones, focusing on the smallest details. Then she would close her eyes and visualize vibrant scenes of nature, green meadows, blue skies, and ocean waves. These exercises not only relieved tension but also filled her with a sense of peace. Vision is a gift we often take for granted, she would remind her students and colleagues. Our eyes are a window to the world, and we must care for them as we do our hearts or minds. Her techniques were passed down through generations. One notable success story involved her student and colleague, Alexei Sergeyevich. Struggling with severe eye strain from working on blueprints and documents, Alexei began following Klavdia's methods. Within weeks, he noticed significant improvement. His vision sharpened and the fatigue disappeared. "It was incredible," Alexei later said. "Simple exercises and a few minutes a day restored clarity I thought I'd lost." Klavdia also left a lasting impression through her kindness and ability to uplift others. Her modest apartment became a haven for students, young scientists, and everyday workers seeking guidance and inspiration. Over cups of herbal tea, she would spend hours sharing wisdom and encouragement. One poignant story involved a mail carrier burdened with guilt over having to deliver suspicious letters to authorities. Tearfully, the woman confessed her struggles to Klavdia, fearing that her actions were harming others. Klavdia listened intently, her gaze radiating calm and understanding. She placed a reassuring hand on the woman's shoulder and said gently, "Do what you must, but keep the light in your heart." These words, free of judgment, brought immense relief to the woman, who left feeling forgiven and at peace. Klavdia's unwavering compassion and belief in the inherent goodness of people defined her legacy. She often said that even in the darkest souls there is a corner of light waiting to shine. Her ability to see the best in everyone and her profound understanding of the human spirit continue to inspire to this day. Another time, at a local market, she noticed a vendor wrapping cranberries in pages torn from old monastic inventory books. The discovery shook her to the core. Approaching the woman, she offered to buy all the books, paying far more than the berries were worth. "These pages carry a history that must not be destroyed," she said. The vendor, deeply moved by her words, handed over the books with gratitude. Later, Klavdia donated these documents to a state archive, where they became a valuable part of historical heritage. Despite her advanced age, her life remained rich with achievements and discoveries. At nearly 80, she accomplished yet another remarkable feat, descending in a bathyscaphe to the depths of the White Sea to study rare species of seaweed. It was a risky and complex experiment, but she spoke about it with great enthusiasm. Water is not just the source of life, it's an inexhaustible reservoir of knowledge. This expedition yielded invaluable data for science, and her courage inspired the entire team. One of the participants later recalled, "When we saw Klavdia working tirelessly, we felt ashamed to complain about fatigue. She was a living example of how dedication to one's work can move mountains." Following this, she published a series of articles that became seminal contributions to marine botany. Her energy and determination inspired everyone around her. Even when her health began to falter, she refused to stop working. Klavdia often said, "As long as there's a purpose worth living for, you're alive." Even in her later years, she could work up to 16 hours a day, setting an example that motivated young scientists. Her relentless drive for discovery and her resilience in overcoming challenges became legendary, with stories of her life passed down through generations, inspiring people to believe in their own potential. At 85, Klavdia took on the ambitious task of creating a unique herbarium of seaweed collected from various depths of the world's oceans. Each specimen was meticulously catalogued, accompanied by detailed notes and illustrations. She often remarked that every piece of seaweed was not just a plant but a world unto itself, with its own story and significance. This herbarium became one of her crowning scientific achievements and continues to be used by researchers worldwide. Despite her intense scientific career, Klavdia always found time for spiritual reflection and creativity. She dabbled in painting and kept journals filled with her musings on life, nature, and the human soul. These writings, rich with philosophical insight, inspired her students and friends alike. Once speaking to her young protégée, Elena, a graduate student, she said, "We are all like drops in an enormous ocean. Each drop matters, but only together do we create something greater." Her words and example inspired Elena to pioneer a new branch of marine ecology. Later, Elena often credited Klavdia Kemp as her greatest mentor and source of inspiration in her work. A life of endless energy and passion for science. Even as Klavdia approached her 100th birthday, her vitality remained undiminished. Her days were filled with lectures, scientific meetings, and long walks in nature. She firmly believed that an active life was the best way to preserve health and inner peace. A few months before her passing, she wrote in her journal, "Life is the greatest gift. It is filled with joys and hardships, victories and defeats. But the most important thing is never to lose your love for the world and its people. That is what truly makes us alive." Klavdia Kemp passed away at the age of 102, surrounded by those who loved her, leaving behind not only a scientific legacy but also an unforgettable example of wisdom, kindness, and resilience. Her name became a symbol of strength, of spirit, and dedication, inspiring generations to seek harmony within themselves and the world around them. Klavdia lived an extraordinary life, full of accomplishments and inspiration. Her work laid the foundation for countless studies, her wise words supported those searching for themselves, and her energy was a testament to how love for one's work and people can overcome any obstacle. Today, as people remember Klavdia Kemp, many say, "She taught us to believe in ourselves and to see the beauty in every moment of life." Her methods, her writings, and her philosophy continue to inspire new generations. Klavdia Kemp remains in the hearts of many as someone who dedicated her life to making the world a better place.